Let's move to our next keynote profile. Mr. Rajaguru Ganesan, independent researcher in system modernization, cloud, and microservices architecture from Washington, D.C., Baltimore, USA. Mr. Rajaguru's expertise include over 21 years of experience in product design and software engineering, recognized expert in modernizing complex monolithic systems into scalable microservices architecture. His today's topic is precision monolithic decomposition with AI. With that, let's warmly welcome Mr. Rajaguru.
Stop sharing screen and go ahead. Let me be able to see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, welcome. Actually, thanks for the opportunity for the organizer as well as all the speaker. So this is good opportunity for me to present like how AI is used in practical like in the industry, right? So that is a key topic here, right? So like most of the software development every time if you see, right, that's like you generally won't build like day to day, right? You would just like that all the software is like you are not going to start from the scratch every time, right? Most of the time there is a system you will do modernization, like you know to use the existing code or apply and modify it. That what most of the problem we are facing like in the industry. So for this, how we can use AI to fast track it. That's the idea of this keynote speaking. Like, so basically, I thought of how we are applying this AI in the real software development. That's what we wanted to talk on this today. Okay, let's deep dive into this. So basically, I think that introduction, I think already is completed by the organizer. So I'm just skipping it. I'm directly going to the problem statement and the solution we are presenting. Okay. So why monolithic resistance? What is exactly monolithic, right? That's a complex system, right? So that's a complex system. So you are building a system that contain too many, like say, building is there, shipping is there, like order is there, inventory is there. But there's a tight coupling between all these systems existing in the current monolithic system. So there will be like one big system where you can't even small, like a minor change, it will break the entire thing. Maybe we have seen like many times, right? There are a lot of outages happening on like currently, right? One of the outages happening in like AWS East affect the entire global, right? So there are many outages like causes a lot of millions of dollars losses in the entire businesses. Okay, so that's the reason like nowadays we wanted to convert this monolithic into a microservices, so you can like keep on deploying your services like almost if you see AWS or Amazon, right? They're daily deploying the services. It's not like that previously we used to one product launch when it will take like 6 months or 1 year, like it will take a lot of time. So now we wanted to deploy every day. So for this, we wanted to build the system into the microservices. So you can easily deploy like daily, right? It's not right, almost like daily night we build it's called, right? Daily we will keep on deploying to production. For this, we need to break this actually. So database also there used to be like a one basically IBM, right, mainframe system and all we used to have, right? That's a big database, like everybody working on the same database. Anything goes wrong on entire system will be down. So now even the database schema and all we are separating into smaller module and microservice. That's what microservice is all about. Like one microservice with their own database, and you can scale it up and scale it down based on the traffic, based on the need and others. Okay. So and also in this, how you are going to understand the existing system, right? That is the biggest like problem to convert into microservices. For example, like there will be like millions line of code will be existing in the current coding, right? So you need to understand. For this nowadays we are using, right, before AI, like not much used in AI. We used to do this project for like months and year, right? Converting one system to another system will take like 2 to 3 years sometime because you need to understand the code and go through that everything. So now with the AI, how we can fast track it and do this very fast and speed to the market. That is the overall aim of this keynote. Okay. So basically, it's like a manual code automation too. Now we are doing a semantic analysis. Okay. So how this AI used, right? There is a graph neural network or NLP or like there are static and dynamic analysis, all these technologies used. Okay. So GNS, for example, you give a lot of functions, it call multiple interaction point. So the graphical neural can identify the calling pattern and this and it can separate, right? You are calling multiple functions. So it identify edges and the pointer, right? So it can identify this is the system. It can be separated into a microservice. Okay. Then using natural language processing. So basically, like any developer uses that, obviously they give some index for the name, right? This order or receiving, like they give the naming and also they give a lot of comments in the code. So the NLP can go through the command and understand the classes, and based on that, it will do the bounded context. So bounded context, nothing but in domain-driven language. So you are defining your context correctly, so NLP can discover, analyze your entire project and identify what you needed for bounded context. So it can define a bounded context correctly. That is where AI can be used. Other one is static versus dynamic analysis, but static versus dynamic analysis even used to happen even before AI. With AI now it can do little more than that. A static analysis, right? It analyzes the code and give the overall view, but dynamic analysis where AI can use more because like you are running the use cases or like you are executing all these cases, you are monitoring production log, right? You can feed all the logging and all the business use case, what the real user is using. Then this AI go through all the logging and understand. Based on that, it will analyze the code. That is why the dynamic analysis AI will be like more helpful nowadays. Okay. So based on this, right, this monolithic, the direct method call that will be converted into REST or gRPC interfaces, right? Method call and all can easily can generate a gRPC or REST interface. It can define a like API spec for you as well as DTO mapping. It can convert an all class and object, everything it can automatically generate. So even the dependency injection also it can identify these are the dependency needed. It can inject it. So at the end of the day, it can generate like 80 to 90% of the code, but still architect everybody you need to review and correct it. So the manual intervention will be reduced, but still it AI code still need to review it one more time. Okay. So the database also, right? So basically there is like a lot of database table is there. So LLM can generate a ETL pipeline moving those database, right? Basically that's there are two problem, application and coding, right? So for application we were going through, but another piece is the data migration, migrating a data from one big databases into multiple smaller database, right? Like mainframe database or relational database into NoSQL database. So you give like Oracle DB into multiple like Couchbase plus Redis, Sketch, all those databases for particular microservices. That also the LLM can generate for you. Okay. So even this, yeah, that. So there are like how whether AI can suggest like whether you wanted to use a distributed Saga pattern or Outbucks pattern or whether you can where you can use these Outbucks, and that also it can identify because there are that is the reason even in like current well the pattern is used to define the common problem. So with the AI it easily can identify this is the pattern we can use here, like whether it's a Saga pattern, if it is a distributed transaction, whether it need a multi-phase commit or single commit, all those things it can clearly identify and extract from your code. Okay. So basically, these are the problem. Like so, in this, like we thought of like analyzing what are the tool currently used, and in this one of the tool we can deep dive actually. So there are like tools available in market which are the common like a V function or IBM Mono to Micro or even AWS Migration on Google on Gravity. So V function will be used for if you wanted to do a lot of architectural thing, you can use V function. If you are like more into Java coding and you wanted to J2E application into microservices, you can use Mono to Micro. For infrastructure, right? So you wanted to automate like your EKS or cluster or Kubernetes programming, the traffic, like all those infrastructure as a code, that you can use AWS migration up as well. Even Google Anti-Gravity is recently launched. They are also started doing this refactor and code in parallel. So that also supported nowadays. Okay, these are the popular tool. So I thought of going through one of the tool today to just a little deep dive into one of the tools that we are using. So other than this, even you can use GitHub Copilot. For example, you wanted to generate a unit testing for those code from the monolithic to conversion. Those unit testing can be generated using GitHub Copilot. But currently, I thought of exploring one of the tool only, IBM 102 Micro. Okay. So IBM 102 Micro actually uses this. This is the basic IBM 102 Micro tool. So it will read the entire source code. Then it will do data dependency analysis for your code. Okay. Then based on, for example, you wanted to run all the automated test cases or manual test cases in lower environment. Otherwise, you wanted to run the real-time production for 2 to 3 days or a week or month. You can feed all those log. That is a runtime log traces. So the recommendation is use the lower environment to run all the business automation. So it will cover more data. But even production also, you can use the same data production log also. You can feed that. So based on that, then all the business quiz execution, right? You can ask your product owner and business analytics to run all the test cases they wanted to use, how they really wanted to use, or like alpha and beta kind of end user also. You can ask them to run. All these data will be captured, and these all these feed it into the Mono 2 micro program. So it will generate kind of like analysis. So basically, there is two kind of analysis it currently generating. One is natural seam based grouping, like a partitioning that, another business logic based grouping. Okay. So you can use this input and to identify developing a microservices. Like so in this case, this is what we are talking about, like how the static and dynamic analysis, all these executed. Here mostly this is the dynamic analysis runtime. So business use cases, static analysis will do the data dependency analysis. Okay. So now natural seams and business logic. These are the two output generally IBM 102 micro generate. So basically natural seems like basically it's a technical separation versus the business separation, right? So for example, you are calling a service that is supposed to convert it into a microservice, then you can use a natural seam. More of like it is like a technically it will separate. This is the calling for remote method invocation or whatever the call going outside, multiple domain call. So it identify which are the calling pattern and like you can convert it a REST endpoint. Whereas this business logic will help you to identify, okay, you want to do the bounded context or domain driven, you wanted to define your domain correctly, then you need to refer a business logic. Okay. So the output will be for the IBM, it will be like this. So natural seems it will give the connectivity between your system and also right other than this like there are something in the your code it's called a dead code, right? You are not using this code for a long time. There are many times the system like it's keep on people are rewriting the code, then code start producing or lot of code they are not removed. It can identify those dead code as well. So all the connectivity, so natural sim will identify more of technical problem in your code and understand how you can do technically you can migrate. Whereas business logic will give you the your business wise, domain wise, it will divide everything into domain wise. Bounded context, it will define for even your domain identifier, everything you can define using this tool as well. Okay, so overall, this Mono 2 Micro is one of the tool you use for Java J2E. But if you wanted to use for .NET, another you can use vfunction as well as other tool as well. Okay, so maybe like this is the keynote that I'm just introducing free technology as well as if you wanted to implement or you wanted to use your project, for example, if you wanted to use IBM 102 Micro, just you can get into the WebSphere hybrid edition like a no cost trial available, or otherwise these AI tools are little costier based on your organization. You need to get a licensing and like use those tools actually. Yeah, I think mostly I'm done with my timing. So any question to me?
I have a question. So,
Yeah.
what were the major challenges that you faced, or when you did this transition, or what were the main takeaways from that?
Yeah, main takeaway, that's the reason, right? Main takeaway, right? One thing is the we call even developer, right? Whenever you like lot of developer is giving, right? So every developer will propose a different model also, right? For example, like So same code refactoring, multiple developer will come up with a different problem. I wanted to use a circuit breaker with outbox, or somebody will say only I need a outbox, right? With AI, like as an architect, you can define this is what I already defined. Based on that, you can start analysis. So basically, you are removing those like domain or the developer thoughts, other things. It's giving all the things as a technically. Otherwise, other than that, so this domain driven analysis, the dead code finding out all these, even the bounded context, right? It is easy to find. But however, right, it's not going to remove entirely the developer. Basically, you are working as an architect. You are having like a team of like 15 to 20 people, right? So it's like 20 people analyzing the model. This AI like does all those work, right? It will, maybe the time also will be reduced when you are using, right? For example, unit test cases. Currently, we started, right? For example, you wanted to convert existing system, you wanted to run same test cases here. You can use this generation unit test cases. That is very, very is 100% you can achieve. But microservices conversion still it's not, we're not able to achieve 100%. Maybe it is there nearby, it able to sometimes it give wrong bounded context as well. But you can maybe you can do a lot of iterative development using this with less developer involved, so you can effectively use your developers. That's what my key take on this.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.